looking at the investment opportunity for your company, what do you need is, as an investor, we're looking for 5 things. As well as an entrepreneur, I'm looking for 5 things, right? Is a market opportunity identified? Do you know what the market opportunity is? In his case, for example, he shows that IT is global. It's very hard to build a company out of Japan. It's easy, relatively easy. Nothing is easy, but relatively easy. I'm going to build it out of Israel, and that can have access to the global market. So he identified market opportunity. Then he identified the product that could be good, and the customers he can be good. So you need a market, you need a product. So is your technology worthy of customers globally? Sort of thing. The next thing is that we look for founding team. The founding team has to have something. They have to either technology know-how or they have to have domain expertise. As I said earlier, startup founders can come from any walk of life. They could be technology guy, they could be business guy, they could be young, they could be global player, or could be local player. So what you have to find out is that, do you have something to offer to the world? Right? Do you have the perseverance and drive to go make it happen when the world is telling you don't do it, can't do it, cannot be done, and you're trying to drive that thing? And then you need capital. You need whether venture capital or somebody else's money, or friends and family to get started. But you need that money to get started. But also you should have an idea what's the total capital required for you to go make this happen. At the same time, convince the investor there's enough capital will come along the way that you can build a company. And lastly, you have to execute. You have to deliver on what you say. So you have a dream, you're taking baby steps and so forth. How do you make that happen? And then lastly, after you execute it, there are steps on that. How do you go from 0 to 1 to 10 to 100? So I'll give you my example similar to Ani. When we did a company, I did a company in the US, there was a market opportunity, was almost nothing at that given time after the world had collapsed. We continued to believe in the idea. We had investors who were interested in it. So we started building a product. Eventually the world demand changed, and then our product took off. So we went from 0 to $120 million in 4 years. But in the early days, probably you didn't want to work for us. We had like 18 employees quitting every day. Some guy, we had to convince him to stay. And how do you go build a vision? So you have to have vision that ultimately this thing will turn around, right? Conversely, when we came to Japan, why did we choose to invest a venture fund in Japan? We look at a global opportunity. You can make a lot of money in the US. You can make money in India or Israel or China. There are much more ecosystem now. So all of you who are thinking about doing a company in Japan, one of the fundamental shifts that has happened in the last 3-4 years is a massive ecosystem. An example of us, we're sitting here, Takeoff Tokyo, is a good example of ecosystem being built. The government is behind, wanting to do startups. They're putting a lot of money behind startups, which wasn't the case. And I would say on the contrary, Japan has a much bigger ecosystem and capital than even the US right now, if you're a startup. This is a very startup-friendly country. So we saw there's a market opportunity that Japan is strong and we can win in this place. Secondly, there's a capital. As I mentioned, when you're doing a company, you gotta have a capital. So we found that Japan has plenty of capital. It's not that they're lacking the capital. So why are people not coming to Japan? So we saw there's an opportunity. Capital is there, market opportunity is there. The third thing we needed was a product. What's our product going to be? As an investor, venture capital, our product needs to be different than just giving money to the startup. You can get money from a lot of people here. But the idea is, how do we differentiate ourselves from a product point of view? So our product was, we are global hands-on VC. We've done our own companies multiple times. All our partners have done startups and been successful and exited well. So we can help the startups in Japan, which is what they lack the most today in Japan. It's not the money they lack. It's how do you build a company day by day. Every day there are challenges. There are good days and there are bad days. How do you manage the bad days? And that's where we come in. That's our unique proposition of our product compared to other VCs, that we are different. Hence, we need to be in Japan. And then, as I explained, the team. It's important to have a team. So Ken and I started. Ken is Japanese here and based in Tokyo. We think that we can, in order to go global, you need people who have worked in the US, worked in Japan, worked in India or China. China and other places, to build a team that can truly be global, to help the portfolio company that we build on that. So we got the team, we got the market, we got the capital, we got the product. Now we're in the execution phase. So we're trying to go between 0 and 1. We have established fund last year. It's our fund, second year of operation. And it's a long journey, just like any of you startup. We're executing, I would say, between 0 and 1. We're not quite 1 on a fund basis. Although our past track record says that we'll obviously get to 1 and we'll get to 10. So that's an example of how we started a fund like this.